Hi, this is Erin again, and I am the owner of ECKOArt, Echo Certified Sound Healing, Transcendent Lux Lucis, Psychic and Paranormal Coaching, and Infinitus Lux Lucis. And I have been doing a personal project of really exploring my ancestry in depth and documenting it both for myself and to share with others for various reasons. And I have a whole lot of them already uploaded onto my YouTube channel. If you're interested at all in history, ancestry, mythology, anything to do with any of those subjects, including ancient history, you really should subscribe to my channel because you will learn a lot of things, most likely. So, the reason for this video is I found something, again, really interesting, and I like to try to document from the present time all the way back to where it began, as far back as I can. And the purpose of this is to show a direct lineage because I found something. There's tons and tons of things that are really, really fascinating. But when I find something that's extremely unusual or seems, outside the box of what people would consider to be normal, I document it. So, to show a direct lineage, this is me, and again, I came down through here and went out, I went out the keys line right here. So, I'm going to, if you want to know who these people are, you can pause it and look. But for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to do an extensive dive into who these people are because I've already done it in another video. Actually, a couple of them. So, I'm going to kind of buzz out through here. And again, there's an extensive line of Cheneys here. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but we'll just leave that alone for right now. And again, this is the line that has Ragnar Lothbrok and Aslog. What's her last name? Sigurd's daughter. So Ragnar and Aslog, oh, there they are. And so there's Ragnar, and there's Aslog, and this particular line is through Sigurd. I'm actually just realizing something else. But anyway, so Sigurd, Snake in the Eye, is their son. And anyway, so we go back through here. And yes, one of those branches does that. It traces back to Odin. So that part of the story is not false. It traces back to Odin, and I've traced it back there multiple times, and not just on this website, but through some. He's in another part of the family, and I've already traced that back on my own. I did a whole lot of research about 10 years ago or so, and I showed that he was descended from Odin, and that Odin and Freya, and that I'm descended from him. So, keep on going out through here. And I am sure that there are a lot of really fascinating people here to look up. Which I will do, because it's an area I don't really know a whole lot about. But again, you're looking at king lines, which is not uncommon. Once you see a king, you're into a whole line of them. Kings and queens and emperors and you name it. So, now, because I didn't know that much about these people, I looked up somebody back here because the name it made me think of something. And the reason why I hover over these is both so that I can document it, so I can look them up, and also so that you could do the same if you like, because it's easier to look it up and you have the whole name. So there's that. Now, there's a berserker, or from a berserker, and I guess, because that, the day means from, I guess, or of. And so I guess this guy was a berserker. And if you don't know what that is, they were Viking warriors who would work themselves up into a frenzy where they basically were completely mad before they went into a battle. I told people I knew I was descended from berserkers. I did that before I proved it. Okay, so I'm thinking that half troll is probably what that means. So I'll be looking into that, but that's not the purpose of this particular video. And no, I'm not joking. With all the things that I found, there are definitely things that go on that we aren't told about. So, oh, here we go. So, Thorson, king in Alfheim. And so I thought, Alfheim, that sounds familiar, so I looked it up. And hold on one moment. Alfheim is located in Norse mythology in the highest branches of the Yggdrasil world tree near Asgard. Now, I don't know if I've said Yggdrasil right, but so there you go. I tried it. Now, Asgard is also a place that I found listed in my ancestry. I found multiple people listed as being from De Asgard or something like to that effect. And so when I looked it up, it does apparently refer to what you hear of as being Asgard, which we're told are mythological realms. And according to this, it is one of the 9 realms of Norse mythology, and it's the home of the light elves. So it's another case, and if you watch my other videos, you'll find I have found multiple cases of magical beings and creatures in my ancestry, in direct lineage from me back to them, where it all started. And people say that it's mythology, and I have been having this discussion. It's, you know, no more mythology than any other stories. And so they don't necessarily want us to know where we come from, so they tell us these stories and they try to cut us off from our roots. But the reality is, whether you want to look at these beings as if they were aliens that created humans, or whether you want to look at them as they were humans that had babies, either way, these are real beings that are our ancestors. And every culture has them. The Chinese ancestry that I have has them. And, you know, that referred to the Shen Yun show production. And it's just another case. I have a king of Avalon and supposedly Atlantis. I'm not sure how I feel about the Atlantis part being added to that, but because they're 2 different places. But there's multiple cases of these beings that are said to not be even real, where they're actually in people's direct ancestry. And I'm trying to help not only discover for myself, but also educate people, because I know these things are there. I didn't know exactly all of these would be the way that they are in my ancestry. I knew some were there. But it's important for people to understand where they come from. So that's why I'm sharing these things with other people, so that you can start to look into your own ancestry. And even if you can't physically do it for some reason, you can connect with it in other ways. That's a topic for another video. But also, there are people in this same lineage that are from a place called, I guess it's Vinland. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And that's supposed to be the place where the first of the European royals were born. And so I'm going to scan down through this article, and if you feel like, I'm going to zoom it in. If you feel like pausing it and reading, feel free to do it. There's a lot of really good information in this. It's super, super long, so I'm not going to read it out loud. This is basically explaining where all of the European royals started and how they did. And it relates to the Goths and a lot of other people. So it's a really good read, and I really highly recommend pausing and reading this. Because I feel like it has a lot of missing links in it. And these people, the ancient giant, these people are all in my ancestry. I'm pretty sure he is too. Don't hold me to this one, because I'm not 100% sure, but I know this one is. And this one is. And this one is. And you know, I mean, to say that people's ancestry is a myth is just, it's insulting. We might not understand all of it, but it's insulting to say that people's ancestry isn't real. I mean, it's craziness. But anyway, so right here, it's the person who wrote this article, whatever you want to call it, addresses that. It is not a mythical place, nor the kings and queens are not either mythical, more or less the mythical rulers of Rome, Britain, or anywhere else. And it's just it. And the Roman people were real. Like, they're in my ancestry too, but nobody says they're just a myth. So it's really important to understand and put these pieces together. So I'm going to go back over to here. And so we've got a king in Alfheim. And where is... Okay, so I follow this line back here, we've got a whole bunch of kings of Vinland. So this is the line that a lot of the European royals, according to that last thing, are descended from. And I have this, I think, a couple of times. Yeah, I do. I have it a couple of times. And then there's the giant. So that seems to be as far back as this particular line goes. It always goes back to this guy that they say is a giant. I'm not sure exactly if he was just a very large human, or if he was one of the giants that people refer to, which, having psychic ability, I can tell you they're a real thing, but, you know, that's, again, not the topic of this. The topic of this is what can I find in the ancestry and how can we trace it. So there's that. Okay, so I've come back just a little ways from where we were, and I just want to, okay, because this is, the king that we were just discussing, and here, this, I can get it to work right, this king right here is also, was also, I guess, from what I looked up, was also a king in Alfheim. So, just to do a little bit more of a dive into Alfheim, apparently, and this isn't an area I know anything about, so apparently there are, on this other genealogy site, actually people with the last name of Alfheim, or something. That's the way it's being used as a surname. And another example of someone with the surname of Alfheim is this person on the other website. This again is a different genealogy website, and there's some record of someone else with that name, and these people that are relatives with that name. So when you know that, it adds some veracity to the claim that there actually are beings from a place called Alfheim, which is referred to as one of the heaven realms and a place where the light elves lived, you know, in history. Like, there's some historical basis to it. And again, it's not just here. It's the Tuatha De Danann in Ireland. It's the gods that were in, I'm air quoting gods, but you know, the beings that were known as the gods in China and all of the other cultures. Just, they all have this. In Sumeria, Babylon, you've got similar things going on all over the place. And here is another example of that. Wales. So then also, and again, I'm not saying that I am related to these people. I'm just looking into the history of actual historical Alfheim existing. And, you know, there's a place called Elfin, or something called Elfin, which is a similar thing. It's going to be the same type of thing, and that was in Wales, I believe. So, and there is, now, so when I looked up King Alf, it does say, a lot of times you get into where people are talking about role-playing in video games, so you gotta watch what you're looking at. But anyway, now, those have stories that maybe can give you places to go and actually look up historical fact, and sometimes they're just completely made up, but, okay, the old of Alfheim. So, this guy that I have him in the family tree is, he's from Alfheim. So he's going to be another, I don't know, I mean, I guess that might mean he's an elf, right? And it'll take a little bit more research for me to pull all that stuff together, but when you've got, like, Queen Mab, or Maeve, and, Morgan Le Fay, and Sir Lancelot, and different beings from the Tuatha De Danann, and just kings of Avalon, and all of these things in your ancestry, and you can trace them back, and Odin, and Lu the sun god, and the being that is said to be the source of the Merovingian kings that's not supposed to be human because he's something else, and you know, there's all of these different things, and now we've got a possibly half troll. We've got the Firbolg or Firbolg in Ireland, along with the Tuatha De Danann. We've got this giant guy. I mean, there's things. There's something to all of this. I'm not saying that it's one way or another exactly. I'm saying there's more than what we're being told, and there's a reason why we're being cut off from it, but other people believe they're a big deal because they're descended from these people. So, and no, I don't believe that those people are the gods. And I don't believe they're elite, and I don't believe they're full of light. I'm not even going to go there. My opinion of that is they're stepping into shoes that's not theirs. They're stepping in shoes that don't belong to them. So anyways, I'm going to pause this and keep exploring here. Okay, so I found another little interesting bit of information. This guy right here, that name looked familiar to me. I don't know if it's Jotun or Jotun. I think it's Jotun, but I looked it up. And he is said to have stolen Thor's hammer. So that's this guy, I guess, because the name translates that way. So, interesting. Okay, so I have found this guy in that same area of the chart, and this is how it was written. So I have looked it up as King, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ungwinus. I'm sure that's not pronounced correctly, but it translates as this. And it says he was a Danish king who ruled the kingdom after receiving it from a Danish king who had no sons. He was eventually killed by a rival to the throne. So here it says he had a son. I don't know. I'm just going to say it how I feel like saying it. I know it's probably not going to be right at all. I'm just trying to get through this. I'm trying to get through the explanation. But his son Siwald became king after he was. Siwald's son Sigar became king after Siwald. Sigar and his brothers were killed in a war against the Danish Viking clan. Alf, one of Sigar's sons, married Alfild, I don't know how to say it, the daughter of King Siward. Alf and Alfield had a daughter named Gurid. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to make here is, it seems to me it's possible that these are elves, or the beings that are known as being elven, because they're talking about Alf, and this is way back in the early part of the ancestry. So it seems to me, if they're saying that they were killed in a war against, one of them was killed in a war against the Danish Viking clan, that these are not the Danish Vikings. And then they have this elf business going on in their name. So I'm going to say it's a possibility that these are a similar thing to the Tuatha De Danann in Ireland, where they were, said to be the Fae race. I'm going to say these might be the elves. Might be. I don't know enough about it to be sure of that, but there's something going on here that seems that way to me. So, and just to show you where he is in the tree. Right here. So, I'm gonna say he might be an elf. I don't know that, but then I'll just show you. I'm gonna back it up a minute. Okay, so just real quickly before this video ends, we've got we were up here on this line, and I came down here to this branch and went out, and we've got all of these kings of Denmark. So this goes all the way out, kings and queens of Denmark, all the way out, oops, And again, these are names I have not seen before, so these are new names to me. And it goes all the way out to where I just was with that first king in the line. And again, these are all kings. There. Sorry about the jumpiness, but I wanted to get it in. So this... I'm sorry about the jumpiness, but I wanted to be able to get that part in the video. So this is where this one originates, as far as I can tell. So subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.